kind of doing the basic, getting back into baseball shape and getting on the field with the guys. So it's been pretty simple so far, but it's been good.
And are you where you want to be as far as preparing to launch to the season and everything?
Yeah, I mean, for it being the first week, I feel really, really good. I feel my body feels great. I feel I'm confident with where I'm at with my swing right now. So I'm really excited. I feel a lot better than I thought I would. Usually early on in spring training, the first few days getting on the field, it's you're a little sore, a little rusty, but I feel really good. I feel loose and I'm ready to roll.
Thanks, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what else? Sorry, I was on the phone. Sorry, Joey.
It's all right.
Other questions? Let's go to Levi.
Hey, Joey. Last year, and I think we talked to you a little bit throughout the season, but sometimes it feels like you got to get a little distance to get some perspective. Looking back now at the 2020 season, what's your assessment on kind of what went wrong early and then what adjustments were made near the end as it started to kind of uptick again?
You're talking about just in general baseball-wise?
Yeah,
like
just in general baseball-wise. I mean, if it was affected by off-field stuff, by all means, but I'm just curious kind of how you look back at 2020 now.
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like a lot of our guys, we kind of view 2020 as obviously we wanted to play better and, it didn't go quite the way we wanted it to, but, it's tough because it's a 60-game season and you hear guys talking about it and it's like, if you just don't get off to a good start, you don't have that longevity of 162 games to get into a rhythm and get hot and, kind of boost those numbers up and get those wins and whatnot. So, it was just one of those funky years like that we've never had before. So for me, I was happy individually, speaking, just being able to play every day, be healthy, obviously prove that I can play elite defensively, win a Gold Glove. I was happy about that. So, but there's a lot of things I wanted to be better at, offensively, and I'm going to work at that this year. And I think for me, I'm one of those kind of players where I'm really up and down. So, 162 games kind of benefits me because I get to be able to get hot for 30 games, and if I'm down for 20, it's not as big. It doesn't affect as much. So, I'm excited, like I said, for a full season and not just kind of a 60-game sprint.
Yeah, I guess I should have specified offensively. I mean, defensively, you want a freaking Gold Glove. So
Yeah.
Good job there.
Thank you.
What adjustments did you make last year, and are those at the plate? And are those things that you're growing on this year? Or like, what's your maybe mechanically or approach-wise?
Yeah, there were some things mechanically that we looked at and just had to kind of clean up. I think for me, I started off the season actually really well, and then you kind of get into a funk, and then I think I started to try to change my swing a little bit because I'm thinking, hey, 60 games, I want to get some hits. You don't want to, you're not looking at, like I said, a full season calendar, so you're just kind of focused on the short term of I got to get a hit or two every game right now to catch back up, and kind of got into some bad habits, and that's what we're trying to clean up. Just for me, it was like a lot of posture stuff. I was, it looked like I was just trying to hit the ball instead of drive the ball last year, and for me, I'm a power hitter. I'm trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark and, over guys' heads. So when I'm trying to play the small ball, it doesn't really work for me. So that's why I'm trying to get back to let me just drive the ball to center field and keep my posture. And that's when I had success in 2019. So I'm trying to get back to that.
Right on. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Evan Grant.
Hello, Joe.
Hey, Evan, how are you?
I'm good. I hope you don't have any busted pipes back at home.
No, I don't actually. I'm pretty lucky.
I'm glad to hear that, Joe. Hey, you're a visual guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you feel like the lack of a video room and video last year impacted your ability to really kind of the stuff you were just talking to Levi about, to fix that stuff on the fly?
Yeah, I think it's really an underrated thing that we got taken away from us last year, and I think affected a lot of guys. You talk around the clubhouse, even you talk to you know everybody throughout the league. So talking through to them in the off season, when you don't have a video room, it's different because you're kind of relying on that a lot of times. Where when you come up to the major leagues, I remember we never had really video rooms in the minor leagues, but when I got to the major leagues, they're like, yeah, there's a room back there. You can look at your swing, look at your at bat. You can kind of see what they're doing to you. So when you don't have that, and that's just taken out from your feet, under your feet, you're kind of like, okay, like now I have to get back to my high school type approach where I'm just relying on what I can see from the dugout at this point. And you can't really see much from the dugout. You're looking at a side angle. So I think the video, it does have a bigger effect than I think people realize. So it's just something we're gonna have to get used to. I'm pretty sure we don't have it again this year. So we're gonna have to do your homework a lot earlier and just kind of, we have those tablets in there, but it's different when you're watching the live game. I always used to be a guy. I used to go in there. I used to watch the broadcast. Because I just got to see the game from a different perspective and see how the pitcher's working, see how they're communicating to each other. But you don't have that. It's kind of different. So something we're gonna have to get used to. You can't make excuses about it though.
You clearly wanted to watch the broadcast because you wanted to make sure that CJ and Dave weren't ragging on you.
Yeah. You got to make sure they stay in line. So it's good to hear that every now and then.
On the video element, can you just walk us through, so your typical process would be between at-bats, go back to the video room in between innings, or in between, when you had time to go back and look at your previous at-bat, right?
Yeah, I spent, everybody's different, but I think probably half the guys offensively, I used to spend almost the whole game in that video room. It's right behind the dugout at the old stadium, so I used to just watch the broadcast, watch from there, and when I'm coming up to hit, I'm about to be in the hole, I have all my stuff down there, and I just go right back up and get on deck. So yeah, like I said, it's a little different when you don't have that. So, but a lot of guys used to do that. Some guys don't use it, some guys do. It's just kind of personal preference.
Okay, great. Thank you, Joe.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to Kennedy. Joey, this is Kennedy Landry. TR retired.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy Landry is the new reporter for MLB.com. Go ahead, Kennedy.
Oh, hey, Joey.
Nice to meet you.
So when we talked to Woody earlier, he mentioned that you kind of got refitted for a bat. What was that kind of process like? What did you change when it came to the bat and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we went to Marucci. A few of us did, and they kind of have a lab down there where it kind of tells you what bat weight you should be swinging, what model you swing the best, how the ball's jumping off the bat on certain different types of models and whatnot, and different wood. So for me, I usually use a top heavier bat, and then at Marucci it kind of told me that if I distributed the weight a little bit more, made it a little more balance, and had more weight down by my handle, I swung the bat a little bit better, and my hands were quicker and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting stuff. And so I have those bats coming this spring. I haven't gotten them yet, but I'm excited to kind of use them and see if there's a difference in that for my swing and how I feel.
Where is that at, the Marucci lab?
It was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I'm in Baton Rouge right now. That's why I was.
Oh yeah. I was coming into LSU, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
No, I graduated from LSU, so.
Hey, there we go. Go Tigers.
But also, when you come off a Gold Glove win, what even things are you trying to fix in the field right now? To, just get better in general.
Yeah, I felt like I could have been even better in the field last year. There was some balls that I misplayed. For me, it was my first time in right field, so I had to get a little bit more adjusted to the way the ball's coming off the bat for a lefty, the way the ball's coming off the bat for a righty. I was obviously extremely proud of the way I played out there, but I think I can be even better. From a throwing standpoint, from my arm, I'm very confident in throwing. I want guys to run on me. I'm excited to let the ball go. That's kind of why I play out there. And for me, it's just getting my legs back in shape so I can do what I did last year. But I always want to be perfect. I think defensively, it's one of those things for me. It's more of just a mental where you just got to be focused. And I just take it as the guy's going to hit the ball to me. I'm going to run to it and throw it in as fast as I can. And that's kind of, I just try to keep it simple out there. But it's something that you can control. And for me last year, I didn't, obviously offensively, I wasn't as great as I wanted to be, but defensively I said, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to, pick up the slack from the offense and play great defense. So that's what I want to do this year again.
Awesome. Thanks, Joey.
Thanks.
Let's go to Emily. You there, Emily?
Sorry, yeah, sorry, I'm doing laundry.
Here we go.
Yeah. Joey, from a mental perspective, do you feel like you're more mentally equipped to handle the parameters that are put on you guys because of what you all went through last year?
Yeah, I think last year was definitely like a shock for us. We weren't really sure how things were going to be. And last year was a tough year. We didn't really have, for a lot of people. But, for us, there was no really escape outlets. It was very confined. And, I talked to a lot of guys, and it's just tough when you have to, play a game. And if you don't play well, you're locked back in your hotel room, and, you got guys watching you. So it's a little bit different, but I think we have a better feel for it this year. I think they kind of loosened the protocols a little bit and gave us a little more freedom since it's going to be a longer season. But it's something that as of right now we have to deal with, and if we want to play baseball, that's what we have to do right now. So as long as we're getting to play, I think it's everybody will take the protocols that are in place.
With Elvis and Chu being on now, two of the big vocal leaders in the clubhouse, do you feel pressured, but do you feel like that it's in the team's best interest for you to take on more of a vocal leadership role?
Yeah, I think so. For me, it's like we have such a young team and a lot of new guys. So, for me, I've been here a while. I feel like I've gotten to learn from a lot of guys like AB, Prince and Elvis and Chu. I've seen how they go about things and how, they handle things. So for me, it's, I'm not necessarily like a huge vocal guy. I think I can be better at that and being a little bit more vocal. But for me, I think, good leaders are guys who just go out there every day and they play hard. They respect their teammates. They respect the game. They respect the media. They do the right things on and off the field. So that's just kind of the way I view it. I think, everybody is a leader in their own right. So I don't want to be one of those guys where it's like, hey, I'm the leader, listen to me at all times. We're all a team. We all have the same amount of at-bats every game. So that's just kind of the way I go about it. But I think I can help these younger guys and been through a lot of things that they've been through. And so I'm excited for that responsibility, to be honest.
Thank you.
Thanks.
CJ.
Hey, Joey. First of all, thanks for watching the broadcast. That is, really do appreciate that. It's always good to talk to the viewers. What he said something today. Well, first of all, actually, let me go here first. Your posture. When you talked about the idea of trying to drive the ball, assume that you're trying to stand up taller when you're trying to drive the ball. Was your posture getting lower?
Yeah, I was just a little bit more kind of just bent over when I was hitting, and it was just more of just like I was just trying to put the bat on the ball. Where when I'm at my best, like I said, I'm standing straight up, and I'm just, I have that strong posture where I'm driving the ball and I'm backspinning it instead of kind of more of that singles approach where I'm just like trying to, flare something the other way type. So that's one thing that we obviously worked on.
And the other thing, one of the things that Woody said today was that toward the end of the year, it felt like there was a couple adjustments that you made, and it was going well, and you just kind of ran out of time.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing some of those as far as what adjustments and where you were at the very end of the year?
Yeah, for me, I felt like the last week of the season, I started to feel a lot better. I started to drive the ball again. I was getting hits, I was hitting line drives the other way. It was just more of I got into that rhythm, and kind of cleaned up a little things, mechanically. But getting ready on time, I felt like all year I was kind of rushing myself, and I wasn't getting to, I wasn't getting in position. I wasn't loading correctly and giving myself time to hit the ball, honestly. So, like I said, that's the difference between the 60-game season and 160. You can have a good month, a bad month, when it's only 60 games, you can get hot at the last week and run out of time, and that's it. You got to wear that for the rest of the offseason. And that's kind of how I felt. But I'm excited to implement those things in this year and get a full season, like I said.
Awesome. Thanks, Joey.
Thanks.
Alex?
Hey Joey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good, thank you so much. So to kind of follow up on Kennedy's question, as far as the Gold Glove goes, does it make it even more sweeter that you won it in a ballpark that, I mean, I know you played there during summer camp and prior to, but you didn't know how the ball was going to carry in July, August, September. Does it make it even more sweeter knowing that you won it in a place that pretty much nobody's ever played?
Yeah, for me it's, at the beginning of the year I had the goal of I'm going to win a Gold Glove. I knew I had the ability to do it. One of the things that in the back of my head I thought about was it's going to be tough this year because I don't know how the field's going to play. And now we have a roof. We never had a roof, so I have to, the ball's coming out of a roof now instead of a dark sky. So that's one of the things I was a little bit worried about. And it's turf, the dimensions are a little bit different. But like I said, I really worked hard in spring training. I worked hard in the beginning during quarantine when they were letting us go to the field to figure out how this field's going to play. And it gave me a confidence boost, and I was able to go into the season and have a really good feel of what I had to do and how the ball was going to play. So it was just more about preparation for me that helped me out, that helped me win that Gold Glove. So I'm proud of myself for that and realizing that it was going to be a little bit tougher in a new place.
Congratulations on the gold, Joey.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Rick Renner, and then we'll take a couple of follow-ups and let Joey go. Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, Joey, good to see you, buddy. Wanted to ask you about Khris Davis joining the Rangers. Here's a guy who's been a Rangers killer for so many years. How excited are you about him being in the lineup and giving you some protection and probably the other way?
Yeah, it's always nice to have another big bopper in the lineup like that, especially a guy who's a righty. It definitely kind of balances that lineup out a little bit. So, he's been here the last couple of days, and he's an awesome guy. You can just tell he just loves hitting. And so I'm excited to have him part of the team. I'm excited to not have to prepare defensively against him as well because, like you said, he was the Ranger killer. I mean, every time that guy stepped up to the plate, he was doing damage. So it's nice to have him on our side now.
Can you share things with him as far as hitting the long ball? I mean, he obviously has had a lot of success in the league.
Yeah, and then we've already talked about a few things. And the first day he actually came up to me and he was like, hey, I love the way you swing it. I want to shake your hand. And then we got to talk about hitting a little bit because he's had a down year last year. I kind of had a down year last year. So it's cool to kind of talk to another guy who's been through it, who's a slugger, who can hit 40 home runs and just talk about baseball and talk about swinging and their approach. And everybody has a different mentality, so it's kind of nice to see some of the guys who are some of the best in the game, how they think and the way they go about the game.
And lastly, just wanted to ask you, you've accomplished so much in your young career. The back-to-back seasons with all those home runs. Last year, you set out to win the Gold Glove. You've been an All-Star. What is the one thing you really want to accomplish this year for yourself personally?
Man. So you're talking about individually or from?
Yeah, individually.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I always want to play every day. I always want to be healthy, and that's always the main goal. Obviously, it would be great to be an all-star again. It'd be great to win a Gold Glove again. But at the end of the day, like for me, winning is the most important, and I want to make the playoffs. I want to play playoff baseball, but I think that's going to be our main goal, and my main goal is to help this team develop and win games. So, that's it. Individually speaking, it's great to, like I said, it's great to be in the All-Star game, but when you're not winning, it's a different feeling. So I want to win, and I think we have the talent to do it. Thanks.
Okay, we'll take a couple of follow-ups. Go to Jeff. Anybody else has a follow-up, please raise your hand.
Joe, you've known Ronald Guzman a long time.
Yeah.
Right now, where is he? Coming off that good winter league, seems like he'd be really confident.
Yeah, he's like a celebrity in the clubhouse. He has an MVP, so that's a lot of guys getting his autograph and taking pictures with him. So I'm excited for that. But no, he's No, he's in a good spot. I think it helped him a lot going and playing winter ball, and he kind of, he found his stroke, he found his groove, and he looks great. In BP, he's hitting line drives off the batter's eye. You can tell he has a different confidence about him, and so I'm excited for him. I think it's great. He's to me, I think he can be a great player. It's just about figuring it out, locking it in, and just getting to play every day and see where it goes from there. But he's in a good spot mentally, so I'm really happy for him.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll take Kennedy and then CJ, and then I'll let Joey go. Go ahead, Kennedy.
Well, you and David Dahl were obviously on Team USA together.
Yeah.
And, how exciting was that to, have him back on the same team with you, and, what kind of conversations that the two of you had, in the off season after he was signed here?
Yeah, he was one of the guys I was really pushing for to get here. He's always said that he wants to play. We want to play together again, and as soon as he got non-tendered, I was like, all right, well, let's get you here, and kind of was communicating with him the whole time and talking to the coaches, telling him, he's a great player, he's a great guy, so I'm excited that he's here. But I think he's exciting for me because he's hungry. He was an all-star in 2019, and then you kind of get let go by the team the next year. I think it gives you a little bit of fire where you're like, all right, I have something to prove now. And I think for our team, it seems like everybody, if you look up and down the lineup and the roster, it's like everybody has something to prove. So everybody's hungry, and I think that's going to be great for us. It's going to give us a different intensity and different fire when we're out in the field. So you can tell he's locked in and he's ready to be an all-star again this year. So I'm very excited for him. Thanks.
Okay, last one, CJ.
Hey, Joey, something else that Woody said. He was talking about your ability to control the strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
And going back and look at last year, your chase rate was the best of your career. Your contact rate was the best of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a metric that you'll focus on? I know you mentioned the home runs, and we know that about you, and team stuff and wins. But is there a metric that you focus on at all during the year that you kind of use as a barometer for where you're at?
There's a few different things that, we kind of use nowadays. It's, obviously exit velocity is great. If you're hitting the ball hard, good things are going to happen. And for me, I want to work on my launch angle a little bit. I think I'm pretty sure I was first in the league last year, which sounds good, but it's actually not, because I was hitting a lot of balls straight up. I kind of want to just get that launch angle and get that back down a little bit. So in BP, I'm really focused on just driving line drives again. And in the game, that will start turning into what I want it to turn into. So, there's a lot of different things. For me, I know I'm not I'm not like a big average guy, not to burst a bubble, but, for me, it's getting on base, OPS, driving in runs, and, being the guy that I'm supposed to be. I'm not a guy who's going to hit 300. So for me, it's more of like the OPS, weighted runs created. How am I creating the runs for our team? Because at the end of the day, that's how you win games is by creating runs and scoring more runs than the other team. So that's kind of, there's a lot of different things you can look at, and those are kind of the ones I like to look at because usually I'm pretty good at those.
Is there a sweet spot for you on launch angle where you'd like to be?
I think for me it's more of like somewhere in the in the low 30s, but I think last year I'm not 100% sure, but I think I was close to 40. I was popping a lot of balls up. And, it's hitting the ball hard, but a lot of them are going straight up, and those are outs. So for me, it's just about leveling my swing out a little bit and getting those balls on a line instead of hanging in the air for that long, giving the guys a chance to make a play.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.